Good evening and welcome to another edition of the HCC Experience. It's our opportunity to acquaint the community with some of the exciting things that are happening at Hutchinson Community College and also some of the people that are really stars of our institution. And lots of times we talk to faculty and staff at Hutchinson Community College, but this evening we have a special treat. We have two students who are our guests this evening, and I'd like you to introduce yourselves. Brett, go ahead and begin. Let's say, why don't you just introduce yourself as to where you went to high school, and maybe why you came to Hutchinson Community College, and whether you're a sophomore or freshman.
Okay. My name is Brett Arndt. I'm a sophomore at Hutchinson Community College. I went to Andale High School in Andale, Kansas. I came to Hutchinson Community College because it was close to my house. I could commute back and forth if I needed to, and it was very affordable for me.
So affordability and proximity, both
Yes.
both good pluses. Okay, and we have Brittany.
Hi, I'm Brittany Martin. I went to Hutchinson. I went to school in Topeka, Kansas, at Washington Rural High School. I went to Hutchinson because they have a really good music education program, and I got a pretty good scholarship, and that helped. And I am a sophomore this year.
So you're a sophomore, a little bit different than Brett. Then you live in the residence halls, Brittany?
Yeah, I live in the new apartments.
Okay. How's that working out?
It's really nice. I'm rooming with my sister this year.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
How does that? It's kind of like home again, huh?
Yeah, it's really nice.
So what you mentioned you're involved in music as I'm sure extracurricular activity too. What do you do in the music side?
I am a French horn player in the concert band, and this year I'm playing in the jazz band too on my French horn.
Okay.
Which is a little different. We don't usually have a French horn in the jazz band.
I was going to say it's kind of unusual to have French horn jazz.
I was a trumpet player last year, but we don't have enough trombone players, so we switched me to French horn, and I transposed the parts myself.
Brett, what kind of activities are you involved with at the college?
I do the HCC KNEA, which is the Kansas National Educators Association. Me and Brittany are both also in Circle K. We go and do community project services that way, and that's pretty much it.
You have a job?
I work at the front desk in the dorms, checking people in.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
So even though you don't live at the dorms, you check them in, huh?
Yes.
How's that work?
Oh, well, I do live at the dorms.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yes.
I thought you said you drove back and forth from them.
Well, I can commute back and forth. That's
okay.
That's how it's easy for me to commute back and forth if I need to.
So do you like dorm life?
I do.
So this is the second year of being a dorm resident?
Yes.
Which wing do you live on?
Elland West, in the new suites.
New suites. So
yes.
Both of you live in new suites. What kind of activities do you have at the residence halls?
We have different activities. One of the we had in the apartment areas, we actually just had a cookout, and we got together and we had a barbecue cookout thing on a Friday night.
By the apartment, you're talking about the Dragon Landing?
The Dragon Landing.
Oh, you live in Dragon Landing?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah.
You enjoy that over there?
I do. It's really nice.
So you've kind of formed a little bit of a community within a community then?
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay. And how many are in your unit? You said your sister. Is there one other?
There's two more. We didn't know them beforehand.
Okay. And they're from?
One of them is from Sterling, Kansas, and the other one's from Salina.
Okay. So a chance to become acquainted with a whole new group of people.
Yeah.
What was your roommate, Brett?
My roommate I actually went to high school with. He was one of my best friends in high school.
Okay.
So we knew each other before coming to HCC, and we came to HCC with each other. So.
Yeah, so sometimes you can be great friends in high school, and then come into your residence hall situation and not work out so well, but that evidently hasn't been the case.
Oh no, we've been really happy for these 2 years. So.
What's been as students coming to Hutchinson Community College, what was your biggest surprise? You coming from a little bit larger, is the Washington Rural 4A or 5A?
It's a 6A.
It's a 6A high school.
Yeah.
So you came from a little larger high school coming to Hutch Community College. What was your biggest surprise? What was your biggest adjustment you had to make, Brittany?
It was a lot bigger than I would have thought it was going to be. It actually ended up being pretty the same size as my high school, it seemed.
Okay. So size wasn't an issue. What was the biggest surprise, though?
Probably how laid back some of the teachers are. They're pretty easy to work with, and they work with you pretty well.
Okay. What about you, Brent? Biggest surprise?
I think coming from a small town, I think coming into Hutchinson it was just the culture shock and seeing everybody, because in my high school we knew everybody. So, and here, I mean, you meet people, but you don't necessarily know everybody, and just everybody being around you at the same time. So
a whole new different group of friends.
Right.
And maybe some more casual acquaintances rather than really close friends.
Right.
What you're happiest with when you came to the college? As looking back to when you were a freshman, what was the thing that was the most positive thing that you experienced?
I really just liked living in the dorms and being able to hang out whenever I wanted. And it was easier to hang out with your friends in the dorms, I thought.
Brent?
I like all the activities here on campus. Like we can, during homecoming week, there's so many activities. It's just a lot of fun living up here in Hutch.
So are you all involved in homecoming? I mean, are you both Circle K?
Yes.
Both involved in Circle K? So we have homecoming coming up the 22nd with your involvement in the student KNEA group as well as the residence halls and also looking at Circle K. I'm sure you have some kind of involvement in homecoming activities, right?
Not currently. We don't have any involvement. We are currently working on a big project with KNEA, so we're a little busy to work on homecoming.
Okay, so talk a little bit about the student KNEA group. First of all, tell our viewers what Kansas National Education Association is and what role a student chapter plays.
We are the national program that we are, it helps us become better teachers, and it basically helps us, and it provides an insurance policy for people becoming teachers, and so when we work with students in the school, we are covered in case of an accident, and it helps us have community outreach and helps schools around the city and around the nation. Like coming up, I'm going to go work on a student conference on the November 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Where's that at? Brittany?
It's in Houston, Texas, and we are going to talk about how the arts is not just an elective. So it's a pretty good program for me to be in.
So will you be making a presentation?
I don't think I will be this time, but.
Brent?
Well, I'm also working on a huge project. It's called Trunk or Treat here at HCC. And basically, we set up in the Stringer Fine Arts parking lot.
That was a K&E kind of activity too.
Yes. We set up in the Stringer Fine Arts parking lot between Gowan Stadium and the Fine Arts building. We have several cars. We're going to have several cars parked in that parking lot on Halloween night, and we're going to have we're going to have HCC students bring their cars. We encourage them to decorate their trunks because we have a trunk decorating contest, and we would like them to pass out candy to the community. We're basically inviting anybody who wants to come, young, middle school, just anybody who wants to come trick or treat. We'll give them candy, and they'll have a safe environment to trick or treat in.
Now, where will that be, Brent?
In Stringer Fine Arts parking lot between Gowan Stadium and the Fine Arts building.
So you'll be in costume and
Yes.
and just invite. Is it the community in or invite?
Yes. It's anybody who wants to come.
Okay.
So
that should be kind of a nice experience for some kids to come through there.
Yeah.
How are you going to get the word out about that event? Make sure you have trick-or-treaters actually making calls.
We are currently working on, one of our members is student teaching at the school, at one of the elementary schools, and we are going to actually have a press release out onto the schools so the schools can let all the students know that we will have a safe environment for the students to trick-or-treat at.
So if parents want to drop their children off there, they can park in the south lot and the kids can just walk over to
Yes, if they are under a certain age, like if they are in like under third grade, they have to have a parent supervising them at all times because we don't want anything bad to happen to them just
Sure.
in case.
So that's a big activity for you, just coming up here just in a couple of weeks with Halloween on the horizon. What other kinds of things do you have planned for KNEA?
I think we are planning on maybe adopting a school. There's one of the elementary schools around town that wants to be adopted by us, and we're considering adopting that. We are also planning a talent show for HCC, and that will involve all the students here to show exactly what talent is in Hutchinson.
So you're looking at a talent show, and you're also looking at adopting a school. What kind of criteria will you use to adopt a school? How will you decide whether it's Avenue A or whether it's Obie or whether it's McCandless?
Well, one of the schools actually came up to us and asked
Oh, did they? Okay.
whether we could
Which
adopt them.
one visited?
Morgan Elementary.
Morgan, okay.
And so we are,
It's a very large school.
yeah, so we are making sure we have enough members before we actually commit to adopting it.
When you adopt a school, what does that entail?
We help make it a better school. We will probably go read to some of the students there, some of the younger kids. We will probably help beautify it, depending on our budget.
So will you work with the teachers and the principal there to try to put together some kind of plan of action?
Yeah, we will.
Have you done internships yet as far as your program of study in a school?
Actually, I'm currently taking Intro to Education, and I'm
There's
actually...
an internship with that, isn't there?
There's a practicum with it.
A practicum, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm just observing at Hutch Middle School, and I go to one of the history classrooms there. I sit there for a couple hours every Tuesday and Thursday and watch, and if he needs help, I can help him. I think he's planning on me putting together a bulletin board for him so that his classroom, he can teach kids better in his classroom.
So you want to be a history teacher?
Yes.
And you want to be a music educator?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to, vocal or instrumental?
Instrumental.
You talked about your presentation or talked about the convention in Houston centering on the arts. Tell us a little bit about what that means to maybe you and what that convention will center around.
Well, it's basically centered around how people are taking out the music and education, the art education programs like fine arts, music, even PE. And it's really what it's going to be about is it's going to be job security for all the people like me who are going into the music programs, because it's really not just an elective. It's a very important program, and it helps make more sorry.
Kind of helps them get a sense as to maybe leadership skills.
Yeah, more responsible people.
More responsible people, that whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Brett, what kind of triggered your interest in history? I was a history teacher too.
Okay. It kind of triggered my interest when I was a freshman, and I wanted to take history, but I couldn't because it's a junior level class. I couldn't wait to get up to junior level or my junior year so that I could take history. And I had an awesome teacher in high school. He taught awesome. He encouraged us to dig a trench on the schoolyard for trench warfare. How'd
they go over?
Oh, it was just a joke, but he just encouraged us. He told us to give us extra credit for it, and he encouraged us to do all sorts of funny things. And then he was also the government teacher, and I also got very interested in government with him as well.
So that was really, you had an interest in history,
right?
And then it was really allowed to grow with your conversation with your teacher.
Right. He basically brought history alive. So.
Now, Brittany, it's a long way from being in a band or a pep band or a symphonic band to wanting to be a teacher in that area. What triggered your interest? Who was the motivator for you? I think everybody has that person who.
Well, in high school, I was really involved in marching band, and I became the uniform manager. I was the band geek of high school. And the teacher got me into music theory, and that is what triggered me to want to actually teach it. Music theory is basically how all the music is put together. And I just thought it was so interesting, and the teacher was so supportive and helped us get ready for college. And the teacher was Mr. Chaffee, and he was my band director all throughout high school, and he made me want to be a teacher.
Yeah, that's kind of motivational for you then, isn't it? When you have, both of you can cite individuals who have been really responsible for triggering your interest in going into education.
Yeah.
So is that the role that you want to play? Be somebody who can motivate others to go into that field as well?
Yes.
How would you go about doing that? Put you in the middle of a classroom and Morgan grade school. How would you go about motivating those young people to be teachers?
Just make sure the kids know that they can be what they want to be. Even if they have to struggle to get there, they will get there.
Regardless. And Brent?
I think I just want to, when I get to be a teacher, I think I'm going to do what my history teacher did, bring history alive, bring humor into the classroom, bring history alive to them, and just tell them that they can be whatever they want to be. And if teaching is what they want, then I can help them with that.
Great. Let's take a short break and be back with the HCC Experience and our two guests, Brittany and Brent. Welcome back to the HCC Experience. I'm Ed Berger, president of Hutchinson Community College, and we have two student guests with us this evening. Again, we usually have faculty or staff talking about wonderful programs and individuals we have contributing to our college. This year, this session, we have two wonderful contributors to the college as well. These happen to be students. We've talked about KNEA and the interest that these two people have in going into education, and perhaps what was some of the trigger for them doing that. When you complete your time at Hutchinson Community College, where do you plan to transfer?
I plan on transferring to the University of Northern Colorado in Greeley.
Really? That's kind of unusual. Why did you decide to choose Northern Colorado?
Because they are the number 3 in the nation, I believe, for special education, which is also one I want to go into. And my mother actually lives there, so I can live at home with her and go to school there. So
That's a nice location.
yeah,
So going into special ed, not just history teaching.
right.
There are a number of jobs available in that area. That should be high demand, a good place for you to get a springboard into additional employment.
Yes.
Brittany, what about you?
Originally, I was planning on going to Oklahoma University, but things changed and I wanted to be closer to home, so I've actually decided about going to K-State University. It has one of the best music education programs in Kansas.
So you're going to go to K-State, live in a dorm,
Yes, I will live in the dorms.
and you plan on living at home, essentially, when you
Yes.
go to UNC.
Yes.
When you went about the process of selecting a college, you of course had family ties at UNC, and you were looking at programs. Were you talked to, or did anybody visit with you from those universities about the benefits of coming to K-State or going to UNC?
They basically told me that I would be getting top-notch education there, and they brought up the number 3 in the nation for special ed, and it's a beautiful campus there. So up in the mountains, so it's really beautiful there.
So did you visited campus and kind of seen the lay of the land and been able to meet some people in the department?
Yes, I have.
What about you, Brittany?
I visited Oklahoma because that's originally where I was going. It has one of the best music programs. But then I talked with an advisor from Kansas State about the music education program, and that is where my original band director had gone. So I thought maybe, and I noticed that more credits transferred, and it was a money thing, really choosing K-State too.
So you already talked to them about your credit and what will transfer and what will not. Brent, have you done that with UNC as well?
I'm actually in the process of talking to them about what credits transfer. I'm trying to actually get, they guarantee 60 credits, a 60 credit transfer for Colorado community colleges. So I'm trying to get them to accept at least 60 from Hutchinson.
Well, you'll have, when you finish up here, you'll probably have at least 64, will you not?
Yes, I'll have a little more than 64.
It would be good if they would accept all 64
Right.
in some fashion or another. And certainly, you both know that if you have a problem transferring, why, I would call your advisor back here, and that person can help you, help them see the value of the courses you took here and improve that transferability. So both of you know that, and if, again, there's any kind of issue, and sometimes you have departmental issues, not institutional issues, so that's a great way to approach that. Well, as members of the student KNEA group, I know you had a very active and very successful year last year. Talk to us a little bit about the awards that you've won and what those awards stand for, and maybe some of the goals you have for winning awards this year.
Okay.
Well, last year we won the Local Excellence Award for our outreach last year. We did some events.
You might show our viewers what that little plaque looks like from KNEA.
And we won this because we made a scrapbook showing everything that we did. We did a 50-50 raffle last year, and that was fun, and it made quite a bit of money. And we also helped with Bueller's chili feed Think Pink Night. And 6 of us traveled there and helped serve food, helped make the food, and it was a lot of fun.
Where at?
At Bueller High
Bueller?
School. It was during one of their football games.
So the activities that helped you win the award were what activities again? The Think Pink event.
Think Pink event, the 50-50 raffle. It was a lot of the community outreach stuff that we did.
Okay. And you're obviously the best in the state as far as those kinds of activities.
Yep.
Something to be very proud of. Other awards.
Another award that we won.
I guess a question I would have, how old is your chapter?
We are actually 2 years old now, this year. This will be our second year. We are actually charter members of the KNEA SP group here at Hutchinson.
So you're the charter members, got it started off the ground last year. Great.
Okay, so another one of the awards that our advisor actually won was the Advisor of the Year award. Our advisor is Rachel Santine. She won this because some people from last year nominated our group, or nominated her as the Advisor of the Year because she was outstanding. She helped us with every little thing. She cut us loose a couple times to make us think on our own, and that's what really pushed her over the edge and got her this award.
So you nominated Rachel for that award, and she was successful in getting it.
Yes.
Then you have another membership plaque here as well.
Yep, we have the Membership Increase Award. We actually had the most membership increased throughout the state of Kansas last year.
So how many members do you have?
Last year we had about 20. This year we have about 12 because of the graduating sophomores.
So what are you doing to replenish that group? And I guess it's kind of early in the semester, so you probably haven't had much of a chance to really recruit yet, have you?
Yes, we are hoping that the Trunk or Treat event will bring in some more members that will want to join our program. We are also planning on having a pizza party at the end of the year for committed members because we had the issue last year where people would join and wouldn't stay committed to it. But we are hoping that it will be better this year.
Good. Brett, from your side.
Well, at the beginning of the year, HCC puts on the activity fair. We actually had a booth at the activity fair, and basically anybody that came by from their orientation classes, we asked them, are you planning on being a teacher? And if they answered yes, then we'd give them information and we'd give them a spiel, and we basically told them about our program, and we actually got probably 7 to 8 members just by doing that activity fair.
The activity fair is always a great way for clubs and organizations to showcase what they have and what they're doing, and it gets a lot of traffic and gets a great deal of interest. So those are some things that you have planned. That's great success that you had last year. You have something to build on and something to grow from, don't you?
Yes.
If you were talking to a prospective student coming to Hutchinson Community College, what would you tell him or her about the college and a reason they should choose to come to our institution?
It's a great college, and the teachers are so supporting, and it just helps you get prepared so much for transferring, and Hutchinson credits actually transfer better than any other community college here in the state of Kansas.
And you can pretty quickly tell that when you make those campus visits. Brett, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that HCC is a great campus, like Brittany said. Very friendly people, friendly staff. Everybody is available to help you whenever you need it. I would say that we have a basically just great campus, and everybody's there for your success.
Well, I really appreciate you joining us this evening on the HCC Experience. Again, it's wonderful to have students like yourselves contributing to Hutchinson Community College. I, too, was a student at this institution and went into education and became a history teacher. That was a great interest to me. And when I went to the university, I transferred to Wichita State. We didn't, at that time, have a KNEA chapter for students at Hutch Community College, but they certainly did at Wichita State, and I was involved in that. If you have a chance, one of the most, I guess, inspirational things that I had an opportunity to do was go to a state meeting, a state KNEA meeting. That was very much a positive. So if you have a chance to do that, well, you might take the opportunity as well. Well, once again, thank you so much for being a guest on the HCC Experience. It's wonderful to have you here. Thank you very much to our viewers for joining us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.